Hi, this semester I read Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. It was published in October 16th, 1950 by Jeffrey Blyes. It has 208 pages and is set in circa 1940. It was, it was the first published book of the Chronicles of Narnia, although, although it is second in this book series. The Time magazine included this novel in its Best English Language Novels from 1923 to 2005 and has been published in 47 languages. C.S. Lewis was born Clive Staples Lewis November 22nd, 1898 in Belfast, Ireland. He died November 22nd, 1963 at age 64 in Oxford, England. His most notable works were The Chronicles of Narnia, Mere Christianity, The Allergy of Love, The Screwtape Letters, Space Trilogy, Till We Have Faces, Surprised by Joy, The Shape of My Early Life. Clive Staples Lewis was commonly referred to as C.S. Lewis and known to his friends and family as Jack. He was a novelist, a poet, an academic, a medievalist, a literary critic, an essayist, a lay theologian, and a Christian apologist. He is best known for both his fictional and non-fictional work. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien were close friends. Both authors served in the English faculty at Oxford University, and both were active in the informal Oxford literary group known as the Inklings. Lewis was influenced by Tolkien and other friends. At the age of 32, he returned to the Anglican Communion, becoming a very ordinary layman of the Church of England. His faith had a profound effect on his work, and his wartime radio broadcasts on the subject of Christianity brought him wide acclaim. In 1956, he married the American writer Joy Davidman, 17 years younger than him, who died 4 years later of cancer at the age of 45. Lewis died 3 years after his wife as a result of renal failure. His death came 1 week before his 65th birthday. Media coverage of his death was minimal, as he died the same day as U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and the same day another famous author, Aldous Huxley, died. Lewis's works have been translated into more than 30 languages and have sold millions of copies. The Chronicles of Narnia have been popularized on stage, TV, radio, and cinema. Characters are Lucy Pevensey, who is the youngest Pevensey child. She is first to discover the land of Narnia when she slips through the magical wardrobe in the professor's house. Lucy tells her siblings they don't believe her, and Edmund ridicules and teases her about this. After the restoration of Narnia, Lucy is crowned Queen of Narnia and becomes known as Queen Lucy the Valiant. Edmund is the second youngest child of the children. In Narnia, he meets the White Witch, who plies him with treats of magical Turkish delight and smooth talk. Tempted by the White Witch's promise of power and seemingly unending supplies of Turkish delight, Edmund betrays his siblings. He eventually regrets his actions and repents. After he helps Aslan and the good people of Narnia defeat the White Witch, he is crowned King of Narnia with his brother and becomes known as King Edmund the Just. Susan is the second oldest child. She doesn't believe in Narnia until she actually goes there. She's crowned Queen of Narnia and becomes known as Queen Susan the Gentle. Peter is the oldest child. At first, Peter disbelieves Lucy's stories about Narnia, but changes his mind when he sees it for himself. He is hailed as a hero for his part in the overthrow of the White Witch. He is eventually crowned High King of Narnia and becomes known as King Peter the Magnificent. Aslan is a lion and the true ruler of Narnia. He sacrifices himself to save Edmund, but is resurrected in time to aid the people of Narnia and the children against the White Witch and her minions. The White Witch is the land's self-proclaimed queen. She tyrannizes Narnia through her magically imposed rule. Her spell on Narnia has made it always winter, but never Christmas for 100 years. When provoked, she can turn people to stone with her wand. She fears the fulfillment of a prophecy that two sons of Adam and two daughters of Eve will come to Narnia and help Aslan overthrow her. It is mentioned that her name is Jadis. Tumnus is a faun and the first person Lucy meets in Narnia. Tumnus befriends her despite the White Witch's standing order to kidnap any human who enters Narnia. After getting to know Lucy, he changes his mind about handing over the White Witch. He is accidentally betrayed by Edmund, who tells the White Witch that Lucy had met a faun. The witch later turns Tumnus to stone and restored to life by Aslan. Mr. and Mrs. Beaver are friends of Tumnus and hide Peter, Susan, and Lucy and lead them to Aslan. The story begins in 1940 during World War II when four siblings, Peter, Susan, Edmund, and Lucy, are evacuated from London. They are sent to live with Professor Diggory Kirk, who lives in a country house in the English countryside. While the four children are exploring the house, Lucy looks into a wardrobe and discovers a doorway into a magical world called Narnia. There she meets a faun named Tumnus, and he invites her to have tea in his home. He confesses his plans to report her to the pretend Queen of Narnia, otherwise known as the White Witch, but has thought better of it. Upon returning to our world, Lucy's siblings do not believe her story about Narnia. Edmund enters the wardrobe and meets the White Witch, who befriends him and offers him magical Turkish delight, which enchants him. She encourages him to bring his siblings to her in Narnia, with the promise that he shall rule over them. Edmund returns with Lucy to our world, having met her in Narnia. But after returning, he lies to Peter and Susan and denies Lucy's claim that Narnia lies behind the wardrobe. Eventually, all four of the children enter Narnia together while hiding in the wardrobe. They meet Mr. and Mrs. Beaver, who invite them to dinner. The Beavers recount a prophecy that the witch's power will fall when two sons of Adam and two daughters of Eve fill the four thrones at Cair Paravel. These Beavers tell of the true king of Narnia, a great lion named Aslan, who has been absent for many years but is now on the move again. Edmund sinks away to the White Witch. Her castle is filled with stone statues, which are enemies that she has petrified. The Beavers realize where Edmund has gone and abandon their home, leading the children to Aslan. As they travel, they notice that snow is melting, indicating that the White Witch's spell is breaking. A visit by Father Christmas confirms this. Father Christmas gives the three children and the Beavers presents. Peter receives a sword and a shield. Susan gets a horn and a bow. Lucy gets a vial of magical healing liquid. Mrs. Beaver gets a sewing machine, and Mr. Beaver's dam is finally finished. The children and the Beavers meet with Aslan and his army. Peter engages in his first battle, killing a wolf who threatens Susan. The witch approaches to speak with Aslan, insisting that according to the deep magic from the dawn of time, she has the right to execute Edmund as a traitor. Aslan speaks with her privately and persuades her to renounce her claim on Edmund's life. That evening, Aslan secretly leaves camp, but is followed by Lucy and Susan. Aslan has bargained to exchange his own life for Edmund. The witch ties Aslan to the stone table and kills him with a knife. The following morning, Aslan is restored to life. Aslan allows Lucy and Susan to ride on his back as he tries to hurry to the White Witch's castle to restore the statues to life. As Edmund and Peter lead the Narnian battle against the White Witch's army, but are losing. Will Aslan, Lucy, and Susan make it? Will Peter and Edmund win? The only thing you need to do is to read the book to find out. Illustrations. Lewis chose Pauline Baynes as a result of J.R.R. Tolkien's recommendation to draw the pictures for the book. Baynes had greatly impressed Tolkien with her illustrations for The Farmer Giles of Ham. Lewis's appreciations for the illustrations is evident in a letter Lucy wrote to Baynes after the last battle won the Carnegie Mellon for the Best Children's Book of 1956. He says, "Is it not rather our medal?" The British edition of the novel had 43 illustrations, but the American editions had greatly fewer, and had only 17 illustrations. Many of them were severely cropped from the originals, giving the readers in that country a very different experience when reading the novel. All illustrations were restored for the 1994 worldwide HarperCollins edition, although these lack the clarity of the early paintings. The initial critical response of this book was muted. At the time, it was fashionable for children's stories to be realistic. Fantasy and fairy tales were seen as indulgent, appropriate for only very young readers, and potentially harmful to the older children, even hindering their ability to relate to everyday life. Some reviewers thought the tale was overly moralistic, or the Christian elements were overstated, attempts to indoctrinate the children. Others were concerned that many of the violent incidents may frighten the children. Nevertheless, the novel and its successors were highly popular with young readers. Lewis's publisher was soon anxious to release further Narnia stories. Allusions. Professor Kirk was based on W.T. Kirkpatrick, who tutored 16-year-old Lewis. The dwarves and the giants are found in Norse mythology. Fauns, centaurs, minotaurs, and dryads derive from Greek mythology. Father Christmas, of course, was part of the popular English folktale. The main story, of course, is an elegy of Christ's crucifixion, with Aslan being Jesus, Jadis being Lucifer, Edmund being man, and the stone table, the cross. The freeing of Aslan's body from the stone table by field mice is reminiscent of Aesop's fable of the lion and the mouse. During the time of it was published in 1950, great notable actions during that time were the space race between us and Russia, the Korean War had started, the Red Scare, or the Communism Scare, and the beginning of decolonization in Africa and Asia. And I thank you for listening to me, and please read the book. Goodbye.